Hey, what's up, everyone? Jerry from StogiaReview.com. My turn to weigh in on the CAO Last Stick Standing. The A, as you know, the C didn't really cut it for any of us here at StogiaReview.com. I'm pretty sure Brian, Walt, or Charlie probably filled you in on the A, or I don't know where each video is going to be spiced yet, but off to a pretty good start here. A little bit of a spiciness, a little bit of a woodiness to it, a little bit of a creamy factor here. On the surface, when I first saw the A, I thought the A was something on the gold CAO Gold or CAO Gold Vintage line of wrappers, but Ed McKenna told me I was way off the beaten path there. But so you can't go by looks alone. Anyways, off to a pretty good start here on the A, and I'll check back with you in a little bit and tell you how it goes. Alright, about the halfway point here of my CAO Last Stick Standing A, and things are going pretty well. No problems on the burr, no problems on the draw. A pretty clean flavor profile here, nice and creamy, woodsy, a little bit of sweetness there, a little bit of a spiciness that I encountered in the front has kind of faded and gone to the background here, but definitely a sweet, creamy flavor going there, but still a little bit of spiciness on the tingling the taste buds there. So all I'm enjoying it, definitely enjoying it more than the C was a few weeks ago here. So the A so far is doing the job for me here. It's the first cigar of the day for me this afternoon, and thoroughly enjoying it so far, and we'll see how it ends. Alright, coming to the end here of my Last Stick Standing A, and I gotta say, I enjoy this extremely more than I enjoyed the C version of this guy. Definitely a mild to medium bodied cigar. Definitely one of those cigars you probably wanted to be your first cigar of the day, either that first cup of coffee or sometime before noon. Nice smooth flavors. Starts off with a little bit of a sweet spicy note. That spiciness kind of fades away. You get kind of a sweet creaminess to it, a little bit of a woodsy factor there to it as well. Just a very nice, balanced, smooth flavor profile there. No harshness, doesn't burn crooked, didn't have to do any kind of touch-ups or relights. Nice, easy draw to it. I mean, not the most sophisticated, complex blend there is, but it's very well balanced, very well made, very smooth, and nice flavors there as well. Definitely a nice, mild, medium-bodied cigar, like I said. Yeah, so far this is the pack leader for me. I haven't smoked the O yet. I don't know if that's going to give me an O face or not, but so far the A is the winner in my book. Definitely hit on all cylinders on my palate. So, interesting to see what the other guy.
Hey, Walt here from StogiaReview.com with the A cigar from the CAO Last Stick Standing promotion. Coming into this, I was a little concerned that the C cigar was kind of mediocre. I really didn't like it much, and I was coming into this with a little bit of a concern that this cigar was going to be kind of more of the same. With General Cigar being such a large company, they sort of have to appeal to a very broad audience. So, their cigars aren't really like some of the niche cigars that I really enjoy. For instance, the Epernay line from Dion, or just the whole Illusione line in general. Tatuaje, they're basing their cigars on a smaller audience, and with General Cigar being such a large company with a large portfolio, they have to make something with a broad appeal. So I was coming into this thinking that it was kind of be more of the same, and I'm really pleasantly surprised because the cigar is leaps and bounds better than the C. I'm enjoying this a great deal. It's nice and creamy. It's got plenty of flavor. It's medium bodied. It's going really well at 9 p.m. and it's built in such a way that I don't think this would be an issue, or I think this would be a good cigar at 9 a.m. as well. It's got a good volume of body, a good flavor profile to it that wouldn't be over the top in the morning and isn't underpowered at night, for lack of a better term. So all in all, I'm really enjoying it. Much like the C cigar, this is burning beautifully. I haven't had to touch it up. The draw is perfect. It's providing lots of dense smoke. It's easy to get through the sinus. It coats the palate really well. The burn line is thin and even. The ash is holding on about an inch. It's not falling in my lap, which is a giant plus. I love it when a cigar is neat and isn't flaking around and isn't messy. But all in all, I'm just really impressed with this one. Of the two that we've smoked so far, the C and the A, this is by far my favorite. The flavor profile, it's a little woody. It's got a little bit of a spicy component through the sinus. A little bit more of a woody flavor as that residual smoke sort of dissipates off the palate. It leaves you with a nice woody aftertaste. So really, it seems like a whole lot of wood. It's got just a little bit of bitterness to it. Nice and creamy on the palate. It's just, for lack of a better word, it's pretty freaking awesome. So I'm really surprised by it. I'm not real crazy about the format. It's getting a little bit warm as we get further down. It's picking up just a little bit of harshness. I find that if I smoke it a little bit slower, that goes away, and it hasn't been an issue up until this point. So all in all, of the two, this is by far my favorite.
Hey guys, Charlie here with the A stick from the CAO Last Stick Standing competition. Hopefully you can hear me over all the background noise. So we're on to this panel from the tin with the 3 cigars from the Last Stick Standing. The A is the lightest of the 3 wrappers, the other 2 being a bit darker. Looking at the wrapper earlier, it's really a light brown color, lots of toothiness on it. There was actually a hole with a crack just below the band, but I'm just getting past that. That really didn't cause any problems at all. Smelling the wrapper, I got some leather and faint earth, and off the foot was more the same, but more intense. And then off the foot, I'm sorry, yeah, that was the foot. And then again, looking at the cigar, it was kind of lumpy, something that Brian saw in the C stick. And I don't know what's causing that. Maybe maybe there's some veins in the binder that are sort of pushing through the wrapper. Once I cut the cigar, it really started to unravel. The wrapper did around the head, and it's still doing it. So I slid the band up to sort of hold everything in place, and that seemed to do okay. But now that the band's off, it's starting to be a problem again. And on the cold draw, it was a bit open and really just got some faint leather. In the first third, right off the bat, I really got that sort of sour cream twang that I associate typically with Dominican cigars coming out in the last year or so. I got some leather and nutmeg, good amount of smoke the whole way through, but quickly the flavors really started to fade away. At about the 1-inch mark, I was just getting a tiny amount of leather and a pretty deep void appeared, whether there was a void actually in the roll or one little piece of tobacco burnt quickly, but pretty deep. Throughout, the ash has been nice and solid, really light gray, really nice ash. It's been burning pretty well, no touch-ups or anything, and the burn line's been pretty consistent. Then in the second, third, it really, all I could say is it was really sort of bland, no real big flavors at all. The ash continued to be great, and I was just getting sort of a vague, woodsy, leathery flavor, but really sort of trying to reaching for it. There was no real flavor to speak of. And again, here in the final third, it's still kind of lacking in flavor. Maybe a tiny touch of coffee and cream with some sweetness, and the sweetness is starting to build a little bit, but really not hitting the mark for what I'm looking for flavor-wise. But so even though I wasn't really wowed with the C stick, I think I like that one better than the A. So that's all I have for now, and we'll see what we get in the final stick, the O, next week. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, Brian back here. We're taking another look at the next one in the CAO Last Stick Standing. We're looking at the A, CAO Last Stick Standing A. Looking it over, and pretty light looking wrapper. I did notice the thing that gives me pause, and I didn't see this before, is I got some significant damage in the wrapper on mine. It split. It looks like it actually internally cracked open a little bit. pretty light wrapper aroma. I mean, I'm just getting the faintest, almost kind of floral compost type of thing. Yeah. Looks pretty good, aside from the crack. I don't really see any issues. A little stretched wrapper here, maybe a little crack up near the head too, I think. Yeah, that about covers it. Oh yeah, the hat? Yeah, well, just got done celebrating Gringo de Mayo. Of course I'd be wearing a hat, right? Oh, and with regard to the crack, I should say that the last video I said something about shooting a rubber band at him to test him out. Didn't actually do that, so I don't want anybody blaming me for this. This is how I got it. I didn't actually shoot rubber bands at these. But had this not been broken, I was going to say this was the one that won. But obviously I'd be wrong because it's really, really kind of cracked here, so I don't know. I don't know what that means. Alright, well, I'm going to light it up and see what I think. Back for a quick update here on the CAO Last Stick Standing LSSA. And so, you know, the crack we talked about earlier, or I mentioned earlier, I guess we really didn't have a back and forth, did we? The smoke is a little airy, but not too bad, and I did see a little smoke oozing out of it when it first lit it, but it hasn't been smoking since. So, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see that too well on this. I've got some pictures that hopefully will get put into the video. The burn line, a little jagged, a little ragged, but mostly even. It's burning better than I would have expected. It looks like it's got a significant structural problem, but it's not smoking like it does. We'll see what happens when I actually get to that. It may become just a complete mess at that point. Crack doesn't seem to be getting much larger, but it is already pretty big as it is. In terms of the flavor, I've been noticing a lot of really syrupy sweetness out of it. Initially there was a little bit of almost a lime to it. Now it's a little bit like pineapple, and it's gone kind of back and forth for me between kind of a peppery wood, and every now and then I get a little bit of like a roasty nuttiness and maybe a little bit of earth, but there's a lot of wood in it right now for me. In the syrup, you know, it kind of a really kind of light, slightly creamy, but really light syrup. And yeah, that's about it. So actually it's not doing too bad, considering it looked like it was just going to be a lost cause. So yeah, that's the update. I will smoke it a little further, probably get back to you in the second third. Alright guys, I think it's time to wrap it up. I was able to burn through the really bad cracked parts, and you know, there was some touch-ups were required, but the crack kind of extended down, so it's cracking, you know, the wrappers on two sides right now. But the even through that, the ash was fairly stable, so there's that. In terms of the important part, the flavor and the draw was good. It actually got a little bit better beyond the crack part, which makes sense. You know, kind of a quick recap. It was kind of light, creamy, and syrupy to start off with. There was a little bit of wood early on, and all throughout I've noticed kind of a back of the mouth type of peppery heat. Kind of interesting. You know, in the second third, it continued being sweet, but the sweetness kind of was a little less light and syrupy. The body kind of picked up a little bit at the end. It's a little fuller now. I don't know if I'd quite say it's full bodied, but it's getting close. It's picked up some more of the darker, some more darker flavors. I've gotten a little bit of like faint peaty, savory quality to it. A little bit of charred wood, some leather, some interesting things about it. When I retrohale a lot of the smoke, I usually don't blow a lot of it through the sinuses, but when I just dumped a ton of it through, it wasn't completely unpleasant. I got a really pronounced like cherry sweetness, and some of the leather really came out of it. That's also kind of where I got a little bit of the peatiness to it. I've gotten a little bit of chocolate here and there, and you know, it's some of the pineapple-y sweetness kind of faded. Is a kind of the sweetness kind of I don't know, solidified or got a little more pronounced, a little sharper, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I've had to touch it up a few times. I do like this more than the C that we smoked before, that we reviewed earlier. I think this might be a dud stick with all of the construction problems, and if I could come across one that didn't have all these issues, was convinced that they would come out like they would be, normally smoking sticks, I think I'd definitely smoke this again. Now, if they released them and they continue to have construction problems, I might pass on it. But in terms of the flavor department, I give it a thumbs up. It was a good smoke. I'll probably set this one down. It's a little uneven at this point. Like I said, I had to touch it up a few times. Yeah, I think at this point, because of the construction issues, I may set it down a little earlier than I ordinarily would. I'm not disliking it. I'm just, I'm a little tired of fighting with it. So I kind of like this one. If we ignore the construction problems, I give it a thumbs up. I'd say this is a good contender. I think that's about it for me.